Hello, everyone. I'm Yu-kai Chou. I can talk about game loops for my own product, Octalysis Prime community. And one of the nice things about doing your own thing is there's not a lot of confidentiality. I think the past few years, there's a lot of things that's really interesting I did. I just can't share much. But when it comes to the gamification community, that's something I'm very happy to share. So I'm Yu-kai Chou. Quick background, I started working into gamification since 2003, so maybe an earlier pioneer in the industry. Now I run the Octalysis Group, which is a design consulting firm, and Octalysis Prime, which you'll find out if you don't know much about, education platform. We did some calculation. We saw that my work has powered over 1 billion user experiences from for designing for various clients. So this is not necessarily 1 billion unique human beings, because let's say Microsoft, Volkswagen, Lego could have the same human being as their customers, but we would count that as 3 separate users for practical purposes. And do a lot of these talks at Stanford University, Google, Tesla, whatnot. Here's an example list of a variety of companies we've helped before. You guys are familiar with. Sometimes I just say, not a lot of gaming companies, surprise, but you guys all know that. Wrote a book, Actionable Gamification. If you're interested, you can check out. This is what I'm really most known for, something called the Octalysis Framework. Now today, the talk is not going to be about this, so, but it's something called the Octalysis. It's a combination between octagon analysis, breaks down all human motivation into the 8 core drives, and there's a difference between what we call left brain core drive versus right brain core drives, one dealing with extrinsic motivation, things you do for a reward, purpose, or a goal, but you don't necessarily enjoy the activity itself. So once you obtain the rewards or you hit your goals, you stop doing it. And there's right brain core drives that deal with intrinsic motivation, things you do just because you enjoy doing it, and you would even pay money just to experience that. And even if you lost all your progress tomorrow, you would still want to do that. And then the top ones, I call them white hat gamification core drives, makes people feel powerful, in control, they feel good, but there's no sense of urgency. So once people, they feel in control, so therefore they procrastinate. The bottom core drives are called black hat motivation core drives. They make people feel urgent, obsessed, even addicted. But in the long run, it leaves a bad taste in their mouths because they don't feel like they're in control of their own behavior. So that quick summary of it, if you're interested, check it out. One interesting thing is we did see this year, if you go to Google Scholar and you search for the word Octalysis, you'll find over 1,000 PhD thesis academic journals talking about the Octalysis framework. Does it apply to the stress management industry, factory management, all those things. So when I created it, it was mostly used as a tool for me to design a solution for clients and my own stuff. So I didn't have any aspirations in academia, but I'm obviously very happy that it's standing there. Now, we do have a Facebook group called the Octalysis Explorers, back to the community. And it has 7,800 members, and I've been searching around on Facebook. I believe if you just look at membership count, it's probably the largest Facebook group on gamification. Again, if there's a bigger one, happy to. I'd love to find out what it is and check it out too. But that's I think this one so far, just from a pure membership count, it's the highest. But there's still some issues, right? As we know in a lot of different Facebook groups. One thing is I wanted to provide a continuous learning journey for those who have finished my book, sometimes even 2 or 3 times, and they're wondering, like, how can we take this further, right? How can we learn more about all these things? And maybe obviously the Facebook group isn't the best way to do such a thing. I also wanted to create a community where people learn about each other and care about each other. The Facebook, the Octalysis Explorers group, at least what it is right now, is a lot of one-off messages. Hey, here, this is really cool. And then people that you don't really know suddenly pop up and say, hey, like, a few comments. And I feel like there isn't that interconnectivity, that you're meeting new friends, you're bonding with them, and you care about them. And so I wanted to create that in kind of my audience base. Also, I also wanted people to experience game design mechanics firsthand without playing actual games. I have a lot of people who learn about my work. They're company executives, and they're thinking, oh, I can see how gamers, for instance, would fall into the scarcity kind of design where if you don't allow them to do it, they want to do it more. But I will never, fall into that. So I want to create an experience where it's like, hey, you don't have to play games, but just try this stuff out, and most likely you'll understand what these game element core drives are doing to your motivation. And I think for me personally, I wanted to allow myself to intermingle with a more intimate group of gamification enthusiasts without being overwhelmed, because there are a lot of communities out there and it's hard for me to be in so many different places. So I wanted a core place where I can intermingle with them, answer questions, make referrals sometimes. And so what I end up doing is something called Octalysis Prime. It's basically a gamified platform to learn about gamification and build with the community. Now, the user base for Octalysis Prime right now, I've been running for about 3 years now, is much larger than Octalysis Explorers. But the key thing isn't how many people are in the user base, but more about the activity. So we have a constant daily check that's tracing, I think, the last 30, 40 days. And we see that our daily active user / divided by monthly active user, the AVU over MAU, is about 38%. And so Netflix is the kind of like the golden standard at around 41% the last time there's a public number out there. But Netflix is about, addictive entertainment, where this island is really about learning about gamification, watching my face talk a lot, and experience the game mechanics, experience the community. And so there's still a lot of work to do. We still need lots of improvements, but we're pretty happy with getting people to be so engaged in the experience. And so I want to lead this into a very important topic, something we call game loops, in contrast to activity loops. And this is something that I feel like is one of my most important and useful research since I've wrote the book, and it's something we do for every client projects now. So most systems have some kind of activity loop. They say, hey, do this, do this, do this, do this, and then, hey, you come back tomorrow and do this again. That's the activity loop. And so if you look at some simple gamification designs, you'll see that user performs desired action, they'll get some points, and after some points, they'll get some free stuff, and then it ends. So this is like a traditional loyalty program of sorts. And then they'll say, oh, please, please, please come back again and do more of those desired actions because we have more points, we have more free stuff. And so if the free stuff is still appealing, people might come back and do it again. But it's really up to the kind of like the mercy of the user if they feel like doing it or not. Sometimes there's no free stuff and you just get a badge. So you do actions, you get some points, and your points give you a badge. Some internal employee motivation programs are like that. And it ends, and it's the same thing. Please, please, please come back again, do more actions, get more points because we have other badges that you might care about. Sometimes the points and badges are not even connected. So you get points, and that's just a number you stare on a screen. And then the badges is a separate milestone, like you've been a member for a year, so here's a badge. But it suffers from the same issue. Now, if we look at a very simple game, RPG, the desired action is to kill monsters. And if you kill monsters, you get EXP, you get gold, and you get treasure chests or loot. And so EXP helps you level up and you become stronger. And gold and treasure chests and loots help you get gear, and your gear allows you to become stronger and you look cooler. Now, looking cooler is an end. If you want to look even cooler, you can go back and kill more monsters and do this stuff. But becoming stronger actively boosts the desired action of killing monsters. So if you become stronger and you don't do anything about it, it has no value, right? The only thing that makes sense when you become stronger is to go back, do more desired actions. Now, sometimes the gear is slightly more complex. RPG, only very slightly more complex. Your gear also becomes a boost. So it allows you to get EXP faster, you level up faster, or sometimes it gives you better luck, magic finds. So you get more treasure chests and loot. And so what's very important is to trace those green arrows. And so these are some game loops we've designed for some client projects. This is called the bandwagon streak. I'm not going to go into these in detail. I actually do in the Octalysis Prime Island, so if you're curious, you can check them out. But the key thing is that we want to check for those green arrows. There are boosters in experience, and when there's boosters, it allows for strategy, it allows for autonomous choice, and there's a bit more excitement, which oftentimes allows for what we call Core Drive 3 empowerment of creativity and feedback. Here's another example of, this one is a video sharing site where people are tagging different content. This one is for a seller fashion site where there's the fashion producers and consumers who are buying things. This is from the consumer aspect. And again, the idea is to make sure there's green arrows that are boosters. Now, the key, we're going to spend a bit more time on Octalysis Prime itself. So Octalysis Prime in 2018 in June, really the activity loop is when you come in, there's 3 activities, right? We want people to watch videos, we want people to open a daily chest, and we want them to capture this thing called the Geomon, which is a little monster that randomly appears. And if you spot it, you have to defeat it with your gamification knowledge, and then you capture it if you do. So opening chests allows you to collect something we call Chou coins, but at that point, Chou coins do nothing. Just ends. And I tell my community, hey, you don't have to capture it. You don't have to open it. It's up to you. It doesn't do anything. But just know if you do open it, it's because of this core drive 6 scarcity and patience. You're only allowed to open once a day. So therefore you open it. And some people do say like, well, I don't know why. I just kind of open it every day because I feel like if I don't every day, it's kind of like a waste. And then obviously want people to watch videos and they level up. And when they level up, they all have various powers. And one of the power-ups allows them to open the chest more often. So instead of once a day, they get to open twice a day, every 10 hours. And then there's another power-up that says, hey, when you open your chest, you get 40% more boosted. So now what people saw is that they decide to come back twice a day, every 10 hours, and the synergetic, right? They go to open twice a day, and there's 40% more per chest. So it's like, wow, that's great. It feels good. Even though the Chou coins at that point still do nothing, there's that circulation. Now, but we obviously want to improve on that. We noticed it obviously isn't ideal. So is there something we could do with the Chou coins? So then we introduced Exp Potions. So when you watch videos, you actually level up your core drives faster. So you can unlock more powers, such as allows ways to give you more coins that allows you to buy more Exp Potions to level up. So that little circle becomes a game loop. You know, you do things to improve your experience and you thrive and grow on that. And you can also spend your Chou coins on buying Geomon traps, and that allow you to capture more Geomons. Now the problem is the Geomons, you know, when you capture, they just still sit in an album. Just look at them, and that's about it. So the next step is, hey, can we do things with our Geomon? Well, sure. Maybe we can sell a Geomon and collect Chou coins, and then or you can set them free and gain Core Drive 1 Epic Meaning and Calling EXP and level that one up. When you start seeing duplicate Geomons, maybe you can merge 3 of them to upgrade to your rare one. So you can see how we're slowly expanding the game loop. This is the game loop in early this year. And so I reformatted a little bit. I color-coded blue boxes are actions, green boxes are boosters, yellow are resources, and orange are rewards. Purple arrows are now obtaining something, orange arrows are unlocking something, but like I said, the most important thing are the green arrows that create boosters in experience, and it drives a lot of activity. And people talk about what they're doing the Geomon when they capture a rare one. They want to brag about it in the community. And so this design has been quite interesting for people who go into it. I think a few months ago, we had a OP member who later on became a community manager in Octalysis Prime. But at the time she was telling me she feels like the OP leveling experience is a little bit broken. I'm like, huh, really? Why do you think so? And she was saying that, well, she feels like she's leveling up too quickly, but she's not even one of the hardcore people on the island. And I'm like, okay, let's explore this. So I asked, okay, so when did you sign up? And I think she said she signed up about 15, 16 months ago. And I'm like, okay, and how often do you come on to the island? And she said, I think at least I'll go on every day to do those daily activities, and then maybe sometimes twice a day for some other activities. And so I said, well, you've been coming back every single day for 15 months and doing these activities, and you think you're leveling up too fast. You know, that at that point she says it's a silver status, and I think, oh, I think that's about right. I think that's a fair system, and so we do see a lot of engagement. And like again, she doesn't think she's one of the hardcore people in the community, because some people really try to maximize other potential growth in the system. She's usually there to learn and can communicate with people. Now, this is the World of Warcraft's game loop, and at least 8.1. So World of Warcraft, obviously a very, very successful game. They're the first game in the world that reached $1 billion a year in revenue. And obviously, I don't recommend any company to do this. It's way, way, way too complex. But the problem we face a lot is sometimes a client will come to us and they'll say, hey, Yu-kai, we gamified our community, our website, our product, and it's as fun as World of Warcraft. I'm like, oh, that's so cool. Let me check out what you're doing. And then when I go check it out, basically they just do this, And again, it doesn't have to be World of Warcraft, but it probably should be a little bit better than this. And I think at the minimum, they should recognize there's a big difference between the two. So I think game loop study is very, very important. Now, with the rest of the time, just a quick intro of some of the other systems we have just to drive engagement. So there's a new member welcome system. So what we do here, what we really want is people to feel appreciate and welcome when they join the community. So what we have is there's a section on the island where it just says, hey, this new member just joined, this new member just joined. And there's a button that says welcome new member. Now, if you can, now you have 24 hours to click the button. And if you click it within the first hour from joining, you get the most social influence and relatedness EXP points. And every hour decreases. So some people who are very much trying to level up, they're haunting it and they're always inviting people in the first hour. Now, after 24 hours, you can no longer click that button. And the user will get an email that'll say, hey, 13 people welcomed you to Octalysis Prime. This person teaches from Spain, this person who is an engineer from Thailand, whatnot. So you actually feel like you're welcomed by real people, which is obviously a nice feeling to join. I also believe that we have the most advanced leadership system thus far in the industry, and our leaderboard system. And there's a lot of little things we're doing that I won't go into detail, but one of the biggest things is we do micro leaderboards, because the thing is about leaderboard is that most of the time there's only 10 winners and like 1,000 losers, right? And so if we want to ensure there's core drive to development accomplishment, we want to make sure there's the max amount of time people can feel accomplished, like feel like they're a winner. So first of all, we do micro leaderboards. There's all these ways you can break it down by this week compared to only our status members, only for core drive 3. And so with all these variations, there's over 70 micro leaderboards. But then the thing that I believe we're the only company in the world that do this thus far is we have an intelligent algorithm that figures out what leaderboard people look the best on. And so when they open the leaderboard, instead of saying, hey, these are the all-time top 10 people that are going to make you depressed because you only have 2,000 and they have 8 million, we'll show you, hey, this is one of the micro leaderboards that you're number 5 on. You captured the most geomons this week among the blue members. And so the idea is that the moment they open the leaderboard, they feel accomplished. Like, wow, I didn't even know that. I didn't know I was this good in geomons this week. And so they can take a screenshot, they can share, they can brag about it. So instead of just throwing all the data there and allowing people to just explore and find places to feel accomplished, and most likely they're going to see people way better, that makes them feel sad. We show them, hey, this is how you can feel accomplished. Now, of course, if they want to then go to the all-time leaderboard and look at the super high-level users that make them feel sad, that's up to them. But the idea is that we want to maximize the times people feel accomplished, and they talk about that in the community a lot. So anyway, I know time is running short, so I would love for all of you to check out the Octalysis Prime community. I spent a lot of heart and energy working on that outside of my client work. It's the reason why I don't have a second book is precisely because I'm working on this island. And so if you email bruna@chowforce.com, we're happy to extend a 30-day free OP Premium account just for you to experience it, watch one of the 700 videos I've made on it, and also check out the community. Yep, so wrote a book, all the stuff. Thank you very much. And yeah, I think that concludes my talk.